Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prep. Guys, in this video, I want to tell you that I am so grateful that I woke up from the American dream, the fantasy of the American dream. You know, I was writing down this morning a bunch of notes that I wanted to speak on this particular matter on the way to work, and it's so crazy. I had Iran as something that I wanted to mention. I was like, probably figure between the first and the third that's going to go down, and it went down shortly after I made my notes this morning, because I think that strike happened today. I haven't even watched the president's address. I'll listen to that garbage on the way in here in a minute when I get done making this video. But I just want to tell you, if whether you're a prepper, a believer, a person that was patriotic. You know, I used to be a very patriotic person for this country 20 years ago, and those 20 years later, I am not that person at 40. From volunteering gladly to serve in the military to now, I wouldn't even want to pick up a gun and fight. I feel the greatest enemy is possibly my own government at this point, by the activities and the non-constitutional things that's been going on, and which is a whole nother topic. But, you know, I have never until now seen the depth of how far deluded many of us was to believe in the fantasy of the American dream, because honestly, unless you were a boomer or an early Gen Xer, you didn't even really get to taste a drip of the so-called American dream, because shortly after the 1950s, things have slowly and incrementally picked up to where the quality of life, the return on investment, and even the opportunity to retire has dwindled away. I know people right now that are approaching their 90s, and they are not even able to retire at this point. Like, it's not going to happen for them. And it's really sad. And it just goes to show you how quickly the American dream has eroded away in just a matter of like 60, 70 years. From I feel like the 1950s was a mass decline, but there is like when I look around and I know what's waking many people up to this, and why that they are seeing that we've all been force-fed a lie, not to mention our school system deluding us and religious systems deluding us and all this stuff, is that whenever you look at today, there is no incentive to work hard anymore. Like, I work a full-time 40-hour week job. I just left off working on a build-to-ship board that's going to California that a customer's picking up tomorrow. Sorry about that, guys. I'll edit that out. But I'm just got done working on a build-to-ship board for a customer that they're picking up tomorrow. And so on top of that, then, I do scrap metal hauling off, and I don't even owe on my home at the point in time of any of these things were going on when I picked those up. And it's like, it's crazy how a man can just barely survive these days, and he's working 2 and 3 jobs to provide for his family, so that you can still have the American dream where your wife stays home to be an influence to your children, and you can have a quality of life for your wife and your spouse, or your spouse and your children. Like, all that is, most people, both spouses work, and some work 2 jobs just to get by, and they're still drowning. And the thing is too, is if at any point in time you fail, you will drown. It's just obvious now, and you can't even be allowed to be homeless on the streets. And this is not a rant. I'm getting to the core of the matter I want you to see, because it's only going to devolve from here. Like, the best days of America you've ever seen are over. It's over. I mean, it has been obvious to me the decline that has continued since COVID and getting worse. And like I said, there's no incentive to work hard anymore. There is no retirement. This guy, I shared a video, and he was working on a roof for a customer, and it said, "I'm content I will die on the job, and I will have to take a vacation day to go to attend my funeral." To actually be present at his funeral. And he's so spot on. I expect the same thing. Talked to an assistant manager where I work currently. Me and him was talking one day, and he was like, he totally expected to die on the job too. I'm like, it's sad that this is a resounding theme across the workplace in America today, is you don't expect retirement. You expect to grow grind out until you've ground out. You know, there's more sellers of homes right now than there are buyers, and like the first time in like forever, I think, in the real estate world. And that shows you that nobody has any money. The used equipment market, like used vehicles, things like that, is usually a predominant factor of how like the financial system is and the state of the wealth of Americans, and it is absolutely died off. This empire is literally collapsing in the same footsteps of Rome. I've said this before in a different video. I've touched on some of these points, but you need to understand that we are in the twilight hour of this republic. Like, you are watching the closing pages of this republic. And ladies and gentlemen, it will die off financially, morally. It will be attacked. I imagine this place will be nuclear proliferated. You're going to see the pages of the script of like the Fallout TV show and video game series. If you've gamed that over the years, you're going to see that play out. And in the meantime, you're going to see Terminator play out leading up to that, and the movie INTIME, because we are fragmented and segmented off as society now. Like, you can, like, a lot of people are racist and this kind of ist and that kind of ist, and then you've got, you know, gender dynamics, you got all these things. But what you don't pay attention enough to, many people, is that now you just have the rich and the poor. That's it. You have the exceedingly extreme rich, and then you have the extremely poor. There really is no middle class anymore. Like, that has been completely decimated, and with intent and malice. And so, you know, in the years ahead, the beast system that I have spoke about so long and so frequent over the past 15 years of ministry on this YouTube channel, is you're going to see it fully roll out. I mean, like October last year on the pagan Roman calendar, you know, you've seen a lot of the digitalization of ID going into place, like traveling from here to Europe. You know, like you have to you have to have a palm scan, facial recognition scan, I believe it is, to go anywhere in the European Union, right? And you know, war with Iran is only going to exacerbate things like the financial debt of this country, the enemies of this country. Like, literally, it wouldn't surprise me at any point in time for me to be driving down the road and literally see a mushroom cloud go up where that Oak Ridge is. It wouldn't surprise me at all. And I hate it because I am not prepared in the least for radiation. You know, like, I've got gas masks, I've got suits, I've got, you know, stuff like that. Iodine, whatever, potassium iodide or whatever, you know, but like, it's going to be a mess if we get nuked. And the exchange of nukes, who knows when the nuclear football gets started being pushed, they might be multiple people participate in it. And, you know, when you look at Revelation, where that, you know, the merchants cry for afar off because, you know, Babylon's been thrown down. And not only that, but the merchants of earth, you know, the drug sorceries that were carried out across the world because of her. And it is just so obvious if you read a lot of the caveats of the book of Revelation. It just so leans that we definitely are the second beast of Revelation, because looked like a lamb, spoke like a dragon. I mean, like, it just, the evidence is overwhelming, and our actions are overwhelming. And then on top of that, you know, 2 Ezra chapter 16, woe to you, Babylon, Asia, woe to you, Egypt and Damascus, put on haircloth, sackcloth, prepare sons and daughters, because destruction's nigh at hand. And you keep going on down in the chapter, and it talks about that this is the beginning of sorrows. And, you know, Egypt, Iraq, they've talked about that if war in Iran spills over, Iraq's going to be involved in that. Okay, and then Syria is a mess today, and Damascus, right, is the head of Syria. So that's going to be a spillover. And then you have the Palestinian situation and Egypt taking those in. It's going to be a spillover into that probably too. So you're going to see probably 2 Ezra chapter 16 play out in the very near future. Very near future. Okay? And this country, it's going to be burnt with fire. I can feel the air of judgment coming up on this land. I mean, I just feel a massive shift in this country. Like, I do not feel safe anymore. I don't feel safe in my own home sometimes. I don't feel safe in my neighborhood. I don't feel safe in my town. I mean, you could get shot by ICE in the street. You could get killed by a drug dealer. You could be nuked by our enemies. Like, you never know what is coming anymore. And if you're not doing something to get prepared right now, I'm telling you what, it is not going to end well. I mean, it may not end well regardless for all of us. People listening to this, I mean, we may all just have to ride this thing out and I'll see you in the resurrection. But if you don't do anything at all, it is most assuredly that it's going to end bad. I mean, like, I'm not saying go drop $10,000 on preps today. I'm just saying go next time you go to the store, buy an extra can of beans, buy some extra water, because you never know when the water department's going to be cut off, because ain't no power grid no more, and there ain't no food, and there ain't no means to transport food. Like, people's going to have enough of the stuff that we do in this country, just attacking people, bombing people. Like, the president of peace has attacked more people in office in the time he's been in office, I think, than any other presidents that's ever come before him, that's been in office at the same tenure of him. That tells you something right there. So I don't know if that's peace. That's not the kind of peace that I understand. Just say that, guys. I'm telling you what, it is definitely ramping up to the time of great tribulation. Like, if you don't think we're living in a time of massive tribulation, you are definitely either been sent strong delusion, given to a reprobate mind, or asleep at the wheel. Like, I don't know, but it's definitely at that hour. And I hope that each and every person out there is paying attention at what is going on, because if you at all believe that the Republican Party is going to save you or the Democratic Party is going to save you, I'm telling you, as a libertarian, I don't even think if the libertarian people of mindset that are constitutionalists were given the government reins today could even save this sinking ship. Like, it is life raft, inflating time, and life vest being put on and jumping over the bow. Like, it is over, okay? Like, I'm telling you, it's over. That ship is stopped in the water. You best get off the thing. And I don't know. The last thing I'd say to is, my wife's like, well, where do we go? And I'm like, there's nowhere to go. There's no more landing on Plymouth Rock or finding some stretch of dirt to start over. There is nowhere to go. Like, at this point, I hate to say it, like, the United Kingdom, like going to Scotland, for example, I don't know if that would be a great idea. I don't think I can own a firearm. I don't have a lot of rights of freedom of speech. Like, it's very, very bad in certain aspects. And I can start picking any countries. But it's like, do I want to be where I know I'm going to be nuked? Or do I want to go to somewhere of my ancestors or somewhere it's safe? Like, these are questions, valid questions that need to be asked, because I promise you this, the narrative that's being spun by the media, it's messed up. The narrative that's being spun in the schoolhouse, it's messed up. Your pastors don't tell you the biblical truth, because if you did, you'd be keeping the Father's set-apart calendar. You'd be keeping His set-apart feast. You'd be doing the commandments. There'd be so many things that people would be doing that is so counterproductive to what the so-called church house does now, that it would be obvious that people have woken up. So, I'll just leave you with this. You best get ready, because hard times are coming. The American dream is a fantasy that is finally dead. If you still believe in American exceptionalism and the American dream, you have absolutely took the blue pill, because you are completely lost space. It's time to take the red pill and open your eyes like the Matrix. I'm telling you, like, this is it, folks. We are at the end of an empire. You are watching the end of the Imperial United States, this republic, coming to an end, and it is going out in a blaze of glory. So as always, guys, I'm trying to make sure and reassure people that the solution to this is the new kingdom, faith in Mashiach, honor the Most High, keep His commands, and have faith, because that is the only hope that we have left at this point, because everything else is going to take an L. So guys, I hope y'all have a very Baruch day, and I hope Most High Yah Baruch you, keep you, make His face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends, in Yahushua name.